Reach your destination. Go!
It is indeed Destination Uri. It is the morning programme. Rowan Hand, joy to be with you, and your host through until 10:30 hours GMT. And with me is the man of the reporter, Cormac Campbell, reporter on The Reporter.
Oh.
How are you?
I'm not so bad, Rowan. Looking forward to Christmas now. I know you'd be looking forward to it yourself in the Destination Uri flat. Everyone will be busy getting prepared. You'll be putting up the Christmas tree. Damien McCullough will be in the kitchen cooking the turkey. You know, the riser will be carving the turkey. Just a traditional Christmas in the Destination Uri flat. It's the most
horrible vision I can imagine, that I should share anything with Damien and the riser. I walk alone. I'm a cantankerous old
Well, you
git.
say you walk alone. There's a young chap on the front page of today's paper with the slogan, "You'll never walk alone," on the front of his scarf.
I just give it
Seamless.
to you.
What a seamless segue.
Just magnificent.
That's why we're here from 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, and thank you for all your help. You know, I stand on the shoulders of a giant. That's what I do. There's a very pretty lady going past. I'm not allowed to say that.
No, you're not.
No, there's no pretty lady going past.
That's even worse.
We can see out.
As Rowan's beautiful red tie, scarf, and beard would suggest, it is Christmas, and that's why on the front page we have a beautiful Christmas scene of Owen Rocks from Australia holding a candle at the Newry Hospice Light Up a Life ceremony last week with the tree in the background.
Hospice is at the heart of our community, God help us. This is why I think hospice will never run out of money, because each and every one of us will dig deeply into our pockets to make sure it has money, because it's our hospice. Our families needed it, we're going to need it sometime, and those that come after us will need it. So we're the custodians of the hospice tradition and
most certainly.
So that's good.
The lead story on the front page this week, I think a lot of people thought this issue was done and dusted. It is not. Is the potential sale of Jennings Park. Now, the council put out a consultation a number of weeks ago, which I think overwhelmingly the respondents were opposed to any sale of Jennings Park. There is, of course, a development company interested in using the land to develop the new multi-million-pound health hub that's planned for Newry. There's 3 sites. There's Jennings Park, there's the old St Clair School, and there's the old Abbey lands as well. So they're the proposed sites. Now, what has happened is that the developer in question has come back to the council and requested a second opportunity, offer something a little bit different to the community, consult with them for 8 weeks. But by the end of February, the council will make a decision on this matter. So,
have you sussed yet why this fine new detail in your paper today was not released initially when the whole thing started? Why is it only now, after the residents have said no, that it's appearing?
I suppose there's probably an element of Casement Park. More than likely there'll be slight amendments to the proposal there in order to perhaps get it across the line. So if you think of the amount of money that development companies have to spend in bringing forward a proposal, they're going to try to save a proposal if it runs into difficulties. And from that point of view, they will make amendments if it still fits the brief, but also can appease some of the
It almost seems that the developer, in this case for Jennings Park, is prepared to stand on his head and whistle Dixie in order to get his way.
It is a contract worth at least £40 million. So from that point of view,
I'd whistle Dixie myself.
Absolutely.
You know, but I reckon it's gone.
Well, I wouldn't for a second like to prejudge that. As I said, there's 3 companies still in the running for this. We have the map of what is now proposed for the Jennings Park area. You can have a wee goosey gander. It's on page 2 of the paper this week. Facing it on page 3 is the rather horrific sight of the illegal abattoir that was found in Mullaban. Now, this was in court last week. So an illegal filthy meat processing plant in Mullaban was covered in dead flies, had access to vermin, and a dog eating decaying flesh from bloody beef carcasses. The abattoir, the owner, Bernard Merchant, was fined £10,000 in Newry Magistrates Court this week after a 2-year investigation concluded on his amateurish enterprise providing meat for commercial gain. Now, the judge released the images, and they're
nasty.
They're nasty. So especially coming up to Christmas, make sure you get your meat from a reputable source.
Oh, absolutely.
Of which there are many in your...
Indeed. And don't wash your chicken.
Don't wash your turkey. Is that a chicken you have in the Destination Uri? Oh, I suppose it is. It's Damien McCullough does coach
When you see the cut of his hair, you think Joe 90, or else he's come on a motorbike without a helmet. Sorry, I didn't say that. No, where are we now?
Unbelievable scenes. When I moved to the ever sensitive Ryan Sands.
He's a wonderful fella.
He's a wonderful fella. So in the latest of our interviews with local groups striving to make a difference in the community, Ryan has been talking to members of the Simon community about their work, and I think that fits in nicely with the feature featuring your good self.
Yes.
That's also in the paper. A little bit of good news for education in Newry is that the first sod has officially been turned. I know work's been ongoing for a short time at the new St Clair's Abbey site. So the new £6 million school, the work has officially begun. Also, the new crest of the school has been revealed, and the fact that obviously St Clair's were brown, the Abbey were black.
That's right.
The new school will wear
green,
blue.
Blue. What does black and brown give you? Blue?
I don't know. I don't think it worked
I was
that
trying
way.
to work out the primary colours there.
So the new uniform will be revealed in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
So there's currently, I think, it'll roughly cater for about, on current figures, about 450 pupils. So expect to see a lot of new blue uniforms.
Yeah.
In,
when will it
September.
Open September?
Well, no, it opens next December, but
Next
the uniform comes in before that.
Yeah. Feeder school for Colemans.
Feeder school for every school.
They have their specifics, you know.
Well, the Abbey, I would assume, would help.
Blue,
feeder school.
Blue would take them in the direction of Violet Hill.
It doesn't quite work that way.
No. Well, anyway, an innocent abroad, I don't know.
After a year's work, St Peter's Church in Warrenpoint is set to reopen. So we have a piece with Canon Kearney in Warrenpoint. So he's talking about some of the work that's been done. He says that parishioners can expect to be overwhelmed with the quality of the finish. We've also a little bit of history on the building. It is, of course, a listed building with a foundation stone laid in 1834 and completed in 1841. It was designed by Thomas Duff, who, as we know, was responsible for a lot of important buildings in the Newry area. And it was built for the princely sum of £2,500.
My goodness.
Now, when you consider the refurbishment works cost nearly £1 million, that just shows you the impact of inflation.
I get to wondering what happened to 12 lads and their mate who sat around a wooden table on wooden chairs, eating off wooden plates and drinking out of rough cups, all those years ago. Where, no marble then, no mosaic then, no gold then, no silver then.
At the same time, they were able to afford to rent a private room.
Yeah, that was a big upstairs.
Yes.
Upstairs.
The new swimming pool will open in February, according to the latest council reports. It was, of course, scheduled to open in December before Christmas. That was delayed. I think in the summer there was a number of delays. And February is the new opening date.
I do hope that the new swimming pool won't encounter in its opening, its birth pangs, the pains that the old one encountered. And it was said in Newry at the time that it was being built on the site of a fairy thorn.
Oh.
And that the cutting down of the fairy thorn brought bad luck to the new swimming pool. That's the old one in Newry. And the zenith of their complexities was when I, through the good offices of your newspaper, you carried the headlines, closed it down. Because they appointed lifesavers who weren't qualified. And eventually they had to appoint me, who was qualified. There's a wee story for you.
Unbelievable scene.
That's one for your history column, baby, I tell you.
Unbelievable scenes. Well, staying with water, two stories relating to water on the same page as the swimming pool, actually, is that the report into the condition of water, whether mussel fishermen will be allowed to resume business on near Warrenpoint, near Narrow Water, is due this week following the oil spill at the harbour. A second water story is that an initial tender for refurbishment works in the Victoria Locks area has had to be split after the only respondent came in way over budget. So the council has now had to prioritise the different elements of the tender, put them out to separate tender to get the important bits of the job done within budget. So you mightn't get all the things that they'd planned to get done, but they'll get the important bits done.
How would you like to be a councillor?
I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't either. I couldn't do it. It's
the other sort of Victoria Lock related story is
The Greenway.
The Greenway. The Inland Waterways Association of Ireland had stated that the funding application for the Greenway project, roughly in the region of about £500,000. So this would take you on the middle bank from the Albert Basin site, so St Christopher's Park, to Victoria Lock. That would of course link up with the Omeath Carlingford Greenway and also the towpath to Portadown. So you could theoretically travel from Carlingford to Portadown Lough Neagh with barely touching crossing a road. But the problem with that is the funding application appears to have it's not progressing. But the council have said they remain committed to the project and will be looking at different funding sources.
It's possibly interesting to you, but nothing seems to change. 40 years ago, there was going to be a linear park from the Lochs to Newry, and that was being proposed by, I think it was Enterprise Ulster that was around then, and it came to nothing then. But now, 40 years makes a difference, so it may come to something now.
As a man who looks as much like Santa as you will know that people get very upset and exercised about Christmas lights and Christmas trees.
Yes.
And
yes.
The latest example of this is Woe Christmas Tree in Shanton Park. So we've been speaking to Councillor David Taylor about the pretty abysmal tree that's been erected in Shanton Park, I think for the third year in succession. No decorations, no lights. A couple of people joked that they could fit it in their living room. So it's sort of
madness.
It is quite humorous, but we've had a look back at some of the other Christmas related mishaps, decorative mishaps.
This is what I like about you. You never let a thing go. You have that merely. The story is merely the springboard to other stories.
Well, you're right there, Rowan. You're right there. So last month, Anlong's Christmas tree was cut down by vandals, with the council having to shell out about £800 for a replacement. In 2010, a similar thing happened in Bestbrook, when the Model Village's tree was cut down with a chainsaw just days before the lights were scheduled to be switched on. But critiquing the quality of Christmas illuminations in the area, it's been going on for decades. For example, in 1962, Chamber President W.V. Hogg said Newry had a civic lighting scheme that was very far behind other comparable towns, north and south. And in 1992, late councillor Eugene Markey said that Bo Peep striking matches would have a more impressive spectacle than the town's festival illuminations.
Eugene lives on, beyond the grave.
The most famous, probably, festive mishap was the purchase of the Lego tree.
Oh, outside the town hall.
Which cost about £8,500. Now, people assumed when they heard that it was going to be a certain height, I think they believed that the cone of the tree was going to be that height. In fact, it was a 9-foot brown pole within a small cone on top. Since then, that's become the town's second, or the city's second tree, with a proper, beautiful tree located now in Marcus Square.
Take us forward. We're racing towards the bell.
I'll take you to sport, and it's
That's a ferocious-looking boxer on the back page.
There's no boxer on the back page.
There is it's inside the page.
Inside.
Yeah.
I'll get to that in a second.
You'll get that, yeah.
So it's All-Stars week for colleges football, and there's 3 All-Stars have come to the area. So St Columban's College's Conor Clark picked up Ulster College's All-Star, as did Jarlath Oak Burns from St Paul's, and Pierce Oak McCrickard from St Coleman's. Pierce Oak McCrickard is a dual player. He's also an excellent hurler and a footballer. Jarlath Oak Burns is obviously the son of Jarlath Burns. Yep. And Conor Clark, St Columban's under Stephen Poucher or Poocher, depending on your pronunciation, have been doing some excellent stuff, given the I suppose the limited number of pupils they have compared to other schools. They've been producing some incredible footballers. Speaking of incredible footballers, the lead story on the back page is that Warrenpoint Town are going to face a challenge to keep star striker Daniel Hughes. There's interest from a number of Premiership clubs, including Linfield. So Daniel played a key role in helping drive Warrenpoint to a victory over Portadown, league leaders Portadown. Okay. So bottom of the table beat top of the table on Friday night at Milltown.
Right, move us into your boxing as a final touch.
Last Friday night was Ulster Senior Finals night, and Newry's Jason Barron, who boxes out of the Holy Trinity Club in Belfast. That's the club that produced Olympians such as Brian McGee, Damien Kelly. Also Bernard Dunn, when he was a professional, became a world champion training at the Holy Trinity. So Jason's in good company up at Harry and Michael Hoggins' gym in Belfast, and he's won his third Ulster Senior Super Heavyweight Championship in a row, which is quite an achievement. Very few people have managed to do
I
that before.
listened on the Steam radio to the boxing contest between Freddie Gilroy and Jack Caldwell.
Oh, there's a book out about that at the minute. Best of Enemies by Barry Flynn,
Thank you.
a good friend of mine.
Thank you.
Huh?
Thank you. Go well. Take care. This has been the man, the reporter of the reporter, Mr. Cormac Campbell.
Destination Newry. Keep it on.